Greetings, beloved, multiversal, soul familia. Welcome back. Thank you so very much for tuning in. As we are approaching this partial solar eclipse coming up March 29th, I'm actually feeling guided to do a bit more work with the concrete shamanism shadow work deck and guidebook. So for the next couple of days, beside the regular scheduled morning sessions, we're going to do a mid-morning check-in. And the style of reading and message that I'm going to do and introduce to the channel today is the obstacle and path reading, specifically created for this deck. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that there are other readings that involve obstacles and paths, but the one that we're following today was curated by the authors of the deck, authors and creators of the deck and book, yes. So, here we go. We are going to light the charcoal. Probably should have already had this prepared beforehand, but divine time is on time every time. Alright, and I already have a little bit of amber out, so I just need to do like that. And there it goes. Woo! Yes. Very good. And we are going to say a quick prayer. But first, I need to wet my whistle. If my water looks a little cloudy, it's because it is. It's coconut water. Okay, let's go. Woo! O infinite creator, source of all that is, was, and will ever be, we stand in your divine authority, commanding in alignment with your perfect will. By the power of divine law, we now open our life to abundant security, stability, and protection. No weapons formed against us shall prosper. Every curse, every evil eye, every ill wish, every case, cause, or concern dissolves into nothingness by the radiance of your light. We command true prosperity to flow into our lives, prosperity that nourishes our soul, sustains our body, and blesses all who walk with us. Wealth and resources are now aligned to our highest purpose. I command good fortune to follow us in all things, doors of opportunity opening before us effortlessly, and every step we take is guided by divine favor. I call forth true love, divinely ordained, harmonious, and eternal. Our hearts and soul are aligned to receive and give love in its purest, most sacred form. May our paths be illuminated, our spirit fortified, and our lives a testament to the boundless grace of the Creator. So it is, so it is, so it is. All right. We're going to bring in just a little bit more amber. we're going to go right into these messages now. As soon as I set my soup off to the side here, I made a Southwestern style potato soup to break fast after I wrap up this message. And now we can set this over here. Yes. And here we go, beloveds. 555 on the timer. As we go into this lovely message, actually I'm going to slide all this over just a slight bit for more space. And here we go. So, first we'll be taking a look into the obstacle. And I'm going to be reaching for this book to ensure that this is done correctly. I don't want to get this wrong. We'll just put it that way. So, yes, the obstacle and the path. First we will draw the obstacle, and it will represent the current challenge or blockage the collective is facing. So here we go. Three shuffles. 3 knocks, I just heard. And here we go. The challenge, creating blocks for the collective. And we have one card here. So, we're going to go ahead and pull that out. And we have insecure. Insecure, number 30, as the challenge and the obstacle. Come on now. Insecure, number 30. I'm getting the drift that the collective feels as though they may not be good enough for this mission, so to speak, that we have been on. In their uncertainty lies a journey towards unshakable personal beliefs. The insecure vagabond. So the insecure card is a vagabond archetype, asking us to consider our insecurities and self-doubts. Are we afraid of making commitments, forming relationships, or taking on responsibilities due to deep-seated insecurities? This card encourages us to explore these insecurities, understanding them as part of our human experience, but not letting them limit us or our potential. In the upright, it represents acknowledging vulnerabilities, uncertainties, and self-doubt, yet continuing to navigate life's journey. And the inquiry with this card is, where do my insecurities stem from? So we're going to go into Wisdom of the Hidden Realms to do a bit of clarifying. Position 1. Challenges. Creating blocks for the collective. Challenges creating blocks for the collective. So this insecurity involves some sort of partnership, be it vocational, platonic, romantic, or otherwise, beloveds. The insecurity involves a partnership. And this card does include romance. But not necessarily is that going to be what it represents for everyone in the collective. However, it does involve not just any partnership, but a sacred union. And typically when I see this card, I instantly think about our connection with our Creator. The most sacred union, beloveds. And then beyond that, when we sit with that for a moment and we reaffirm that connection with our Creator, then we can go a bit further as we're sitting with it and determine what else, who else could be part of a sacred union. Let's take a look. Maybe. Yes, let's take a look at the sacred union from the guidebook. It's all about beautiful, true partnership. It shows that Spirit is listening and is always by our side, helping us co-create our greatest desires and manifesting our destiny. When we receive this ally, know that you're never alone on your path. Partnership with the divine is yours whenever you need help. The sacred union also represents the coming together of all kinds of harmonious alliances, friendship, family, business, and of course, romance. No matter what the form, this message pertains to the value of partnership and reminds us to observe the gifts bestowed upon us by this sacred union. This is a very positive omen. And so this is telling me that the collective is getting these it's too good to be true kind of vibe, even though when you get real close to it, you can feel the intensity of it. Insecure about a sacred union of some sort. I'm feeling guided to go just a bit further with that. Okay, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Lady of the Gift in reverse. So insecurities also involving energetic exchanges. Concerned about the sincerity of someone's generosity, not really embracing that season of receiving, and also withholding yourself because it's like that gift is right there in front of your face, but again, the collective just doesn't want to believe that it's true. It's either like something along the lines of, I don't deserve this, or I'm not good enough, or it's too good to be true. Ooh, okay, and right behind that we have the Phoenix also in reverse. So there's also this fear of change going on to some degree. Now we can be embracing our awakening for the most part and still have those off days, or as I would like to say, off moments, because it doesn't, for me, it doesn't last very long anymore, let alone an entire day. So we don't call it, I don't call it an off day anymore. I call it off moments when, we realize that not just parts of our awakening being frightening and intimidating, a bit scary, but also as we're going through this transmutation and all the goodies, the goody golden nuggets of all facets of life start coming in for us, we start wondering, like, either is this really meant for me, or how long is this going to last before someone comes along and takes it? Or like it's just a prank or a joke or a way to manipulate someone to abandon the people, places, and things and situations that they're in and end up moving towards a trap. I can hear a version of myself saying, this is not my first rodeo. This is not my first lap around the fishbowl. So, yeah. It really is too bad when all it takes is a handful of people and situations, and that trust just goes out of here. you know? Yes, the ringmaster of scrutiny. So, are you properly discerning, or are you listening to others and what they have to say? Are others contributing to this insecurity? Or are they just amplifying it, really? Not really creating it for you, but amplifying it. Trying to convince you that that's not the correct path for you simply because they either don't want you to have it, or they think that they're better off than you are, or it's like that controlling strict parent who says, my father was this and I'm this, so you're going to be this, and anything else is a no bueno. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's a no bueno to anyone who is going to tell us what is right on our soul's journey, when we're already mission focused. We are already mission focused. No one can tell us who we are and what to do. Period, poo. Yes. So with the chess queen in reverse, this is also a reminder to trust in our creator, trust in source, trust the universe. Hand over the woes and the pressures and the fears and the guilt and the shame and the anger. as well as get anyone out of your life who continuously pushes certain narratives like comparison, competition, jealousy, and envy. It's out of here. It's out of here. Let's see here. Well, now, I certainly was not expecting that to happen. What a blooper, huh? Wow. Okay, give me just a moment. I will be right back, guys. Okay, I had to take care of something before we moved forward. I'm not even going to edit out the blooper with everything falling forward. That snapping sound that just occurred was a piece of my mosaic glass candle holder just popping off. Like, it's not even cracked or anything. It just popped. Like, you would think that if it's hot, if it's structured well enough to hold a hot candle, then it should be able to hold a piece of hot coal. But oh my goodness, it did crack in several places, which is fine. It still has some structural integrity, so it can be repaired, thankfully. But I did end up having to transfer my charcoal over to another dish for the time being. Wow. Well, thankfully, hold on. Thankfully, I was in here when that happened. Because if that would have happened and that charcoal would have went flying, we would have a fire on our hands, beloveds. But talk about the timing. Here I am talking about handing it all over to the universe and in essence allowing our creator to be the one making the power moves to an extent, or trusting in whoever our creator communicates to us is meant to be the one making those moves at that time. It's called situational leadership. And if your clairs are up, you're going to know when it's someone else's turn to take the lead without being offended or bothered or jealous or vindictive or malicious or even malevolent. I start speaking on handing it over to the universe, and we have some kind of almost supernatural response here. So, give me just a moment. We are going to bring in a bit of sage, tobacco, and cedar. For a bit of extra protection that could very well have just been an intense confirmation that we're meant to be confident in this sacred union and not insecure. Whether it's your vocation or a friendship, a close-knit bond with a family member, or even a romantic interest or a partner you're already with that you could be having, some doubts and insecurities about. This is where the discernment really comes in. And take into consideration, is it your thoughts and feelings at play, or is it something or someone else's? When your clairs are up, even, we'll just say, conscious beings will communicate with you, even if you don't give them permission. Like, I've had someone in the past, sometime around, oh gosh, was it maybe at the end of 2013 or the beginning of 2014, we'll just say on Virginia Street. I had an experience where a voice that is actually familiar to me came to me while I was in the middle of a confrontation that was really neither good nor bad per se. It was definitely uncomfortable. But I heard this feminine voice say that I was in danger, and the person I was having this encounter with wasn't really, quote unquote, in love with me. They just wanted to trap me because they really wanted to delete me, we'll just say. And because without very much discernment, I took it as a divine guide leading me into safety. When in all actuality, what I'm realizing now is that it could have just been another person who had some kind of involvement with the person I was having that confrontation and encounter with, who they know how to understand, how to communicate telepathically. They communicated telepathically with me to get away from this person. And we have cut ties for the most part ever since. And then everybody just kind of moved on, 28, we're in a new life, we're doing our own things. And now it's whatever. Like, I don't even know where they are nowadays. And again, like, we moved on. And there were other synchronicities that occurred during that time that could have easily been misread. Like, at the time, those synchronicities, like hearing a growl come from this person, just further intensified and confirmed what I was hearing. The timing, let me tell you. Nevertheless, I'm feeling guided to move on now to the path of this message, the path portion of this message. Because if I would have kept going, there's too many ways that what I'm saying can be twisted, minced, mistranslated into something that it isn't, so on and so forth. So we're just going to move on. Moving along. Let's make just a bit more room here for this next row of cards. And here we go. In the second row, we will be discussing the path of the collective. The path. Let's take a look. I think I'm actually going to use this selenite description card as a bookmark so that I can refer back to this page again. So the first row was the obstacle, representing the current challenge or blockage the collective is facing. And so the path suggesting a potential approach or mindset that might help you overcome the obstacle. Okay, so how to overcome the obstacle. How to overcome the obstacle. Because sometimes the obstacle is the path. In this case, holding on to insecurity, just from my discernment alone, is saying no bueno. It's a no. It's a solid, hard no. We are not holding on to our insecurities. And everybody has them. And any one of us can dismiss them. So the path is number 7, and fair. So let's take a look. Ooh, and the fair card is an angel archetype. Oh, I should have known with the headband, silly me. Kind of reminds me of an old high school sweetheart before they started growing facial hair. They kept their hair super short like that too, strangely. But moving along. Also, let me take a closer look. It looks like this dude has blue eyes, and the person I'm referring to has like reddish brown eyes. Yes, so an angel archetype, fair, is balancing the scales of the universe. They ensure justice for all. Ooh. Ooh. Drawing the fair angel card prompts a review of our sense of justice, equality, and fairness. It asks us to scrutinize our prejudices, bias, or any unfair treatment we might be extending towards ourselves or others. So by giving more reverence to those insecurities, we're not getting a clear view, let alone review, of any unfair treatment. It is a call to practice objectivity and equality in our judgments and interactions. And in the upright, it exemplifying justice, balance, and treating everyone with equal kindness and respect. And with that, there is an inquiry. When have I championed fairness and equity? I can already hear like 20 of you saying, I'm doing that right now. That's how I am now. That's me. That's totally me. And I hear you and I feel you, beloveds. But we're also going to go a little bit deeper with Wisdom of the Hidden Realms for a little bit more detail in this angel archetype. Fairness and equality. Oh, and we have 2 cards coming out already. We have the Eagle King in the upright and the Ice Queen in reverse. So with the Ice Queen in reverse, it's all about taking action. Okay, I'm going to place the Eagle King right here. We'll take a closer look at it in just a moment. I'm feeling guided to actually read in detail about the Ice Queen. Whew, okay. So, taking action towards this balance of equity and fairness, beloveds, is what I'm hearing. And the Ice Queen in reverse is confirming this to some degree, because the Ice Queen comes to block our movement, but for our highest good. With it in the reverse, the Ice Queen is getting out of the way. And instead of keeping our ideas preserved until later at this point, by sharing and sometimes even giving away some of these ideas, beloveds, from what I'm feeling and what's just been placed on my heart, it is not only for our highest good and, best serving us, but also creating fairness and balance and equity for others at the same time. Just like, let's say, like you're creating some content and you want to use someone else's music track as like an intro or an outro for your content. What happens is they can either deny it altogether, and if you use that material, you can get a strike, or sometimes it works out to where it's like a fair handshake to a degree, because then they benefit from you utilizing their music and your content. I was just witnessing it yesterday. A channel who regularly promotes another channel, but I believe that they were promoting them before, and then they got more acquainted, checking each other's content out, and then like that other channel's music became a regular part of the entertainment aspects of the one utilizing it, sharing it, but also recommending that their viewers also go check out home base of the creator of the track. You see where I'm going with this? Just like I'm utilizing this concrete shamanism shadow work book and deck. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to recommend that you go look up concreteshamans.com and go get you some. That's what I'm going to do. And nobody asked me to do this. Definitely not even anywhere close to anyone sponsoring me. But to a degree, beloveds, we can promote one another, uplift one another, elevate each other in a positive manner. And that is the fairness and the equity, is when everyone is involved. And I'm not a spiritual hoarder. If I come across something good, I'm going to pay it forward. I'm going to pass it on. I can't wait until the day that I can actually gift someone one of these. It may not be this exact particular deck, because once this deck is no longer in print. So once it's sold out, that's it. This is a limited edition deck, beloveds. There was only 33 copies of this deck ever made. It's special, all right? And the authors are now creating a smaller, more like tarot card size, standard card deck size, not standard card deck size, but standard tarot. Let me see. Well, this says pocket edition too, so, but it's interesting how the pocket edition of the Beyond Lemuria is actually right around the ideal size for a tarot deck. Now, the Universe Has Your Back deck may actually be a bit closer. Let me look at these. Oh no, yeah, see, the Universe Has Your Back deck is the same size as this shadow work deck, so I'm not even sure if I have a deck on hand that would be a good reference to what I'm trying to explain. Perhaps this Wisdom of the Hidden Realms deck may be the closest example of where their intentions are going in terms of the size of the cards, the deck, and dexterity. I just know, like, they probably don't even know that I know how they're going about this and thinking, but I do. They definitely have dexterity in mind, as well as how well their decks can pair up with other decks when you're doing like a multifaceted spread. We'll just put it that way. All right. So taking action. So this is yet another, what I see is a prompt here, where we're the ones being called situationally to take action here towards cultivating, co-creating fairness and equity. And just, focus on our part. Tend to our own gardens, I just heard. Tend to our own gardens. And the insecurities will just that part. That part. Let me just make sure that I didn't miss any other key points for the fair card. The fair angel. The fair angel. Nope, I did not overlook anything. So we can actually continue to move along with Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. For a bit more detail and how we can become, answer the call as the situational leaders. 4, 5, 6 on the timer, moving onward, to be the ones, again, promoting this fairness and equity And we have, we're going to put that card right behind the Eagle King in the upright, the bigger picture, and angelic help. Well, no kidding. Angelic help. To some degree, this is like saying we are the ones stepping up to be that miraculous aid for others. That angelic help. Although miraculous aid is not on the table, it is definitely in the orbit, as it has only been maybe right around a week, give or take a day or two, since the last time that that card came out. So definitely some definitely some angelic essence in the orbit regardless. Okay. In order to continue to create fairness, balance, and equity, beloveds, this is also a good occasion to choose like one thing to focus on, and then kind of just put everything off to the side. But I'm not saying like responsibilities or anything, just becoming more mission focused. And it appears that the collective is being called to be that angelic help, that miraculous aid. Seeing as our worldview broadens, as we aim for higher ideals, which is what part of the, energy of this card is, aiming for higher ideals. We're being called to be leaders trailblazing this fairness and equity. The Eagle King. I'm struggling to find that card, but only for a moment. So, the Eagle King is a sign that our highest destiny is within our reach. Oh my gosh. In the very beginning, I was talking about how that sacred union could be right there in your face. Your highest destiny, right within your reach. And insecurities convinced us that we weren't on the right path. So we abandoned that path out of fear and insecurities. But according to this card in the upright, we're on the right path now. Who cares what happened then? We're on the right path now. Even if we can't see where we're going. Yeah, I had to look to see if his eyes were opened or closed. I think they're supposed to be closed. Nevertheless, the hawk came along and removed the blindfold. I mean the eagle, not the hawk. the eagle came along and removed the blindfold. Or also I'm interpreting it as the eagle is our eyes at this time, as it soars high above the mountains and valleys of life and is able to see the big picture when we seem to be lost in a bit of a fog. He makes a formidable ally as he takes our prayers up toward the sun and releases them to the divine. They will be answered by the highest good of all. It's a fortunate omen when the Eagle King decides to be our ally. Beautiful. And then the next card to come out, we have the High Lord of Gratitude and Service, taking not just any action with the Ice Queen in reverse, but conscious action, beloveds. Selfless service. So many of us have been called to do the things that we do as an act of service. And it started with that humility that's in the middle. And then through self-discipline and development, we became more selfless and taking smaller conscious action to create fairness. So I'm not even so sure that I want to go any further with the cards, because in the second row for the path, we started with that path of fairness, and we have another card from a completely separate deck promoting the path to fairness. And there are other decks in Wisdom of the Hidden Realms that also promote fairness and balance. So it's just, I couldn't have predicted that these two cards were going to end up in the same row representing our path. What I can predict is that we're now going to go into the High Lord of Gratitude and Service. The High Lord of Gratitude and Service has arrived to help us find our true purpose. So I'm getting the path is a mishmash. It's like a mashup of both. Receiving acts of service and also contributing to that situational leadership calling and putting out acts of service, putting in to ourselves as well acts of service, beloveds. Feeling gratitude for each moment we experience and loving what is and what has been will remind us that every breath we take holds a deep and profound awareness. Through small actions and selfless service to another, we're automatically placed upon our highest path, whether immediately aware of it or not. The presence of this ally lets us know that we're on the correct path to fulfilling our desires. We're also notified that our actions of service and attitude of gratitude will yield riches beyond our wildest dreams, as long as those riches aren't the goal or the only goal we have in mind. Giving service with no thought of return is what's required of us today. Well, sweetheart, as long as this channel has been here, I've been here. And I haven't charged anything up to this point for what I'm doing. I haven't been putting any thought into a return service for it. We'll just put it that way. This would also be a good time to write a list reminding ourselves of all the things in our life and the world around us that we have to be grateful for. So part of this path for the collective is that gratitude, selflessness, and humility, being that angelic help from time to time, and taking action. Taking action. I'm feeling guided to look up the significance of this snowy owl, even though it's not the closing card for this message. Because it's been placed on my heart that it's going to be relevant to our path at this time. Associated with wisdom, guidance, protection, and magic. One of the few owl species that is active and hunts during the day. The snowy owl may be associated with winter days or with individuality. They're excellent at camouflage in obviously snowy habitats. Also notoriously silent in flight, making them difficult to detect. So now this is telling me that the majority of this fairness and equity angelic help service that we're going to be putting in is going to be undetectable. And I'm getting it's because that way people, places, things, and situations that could be potential distractions, so on and so forth, so that basically they can't create a hurdle or an obstacle for us. So keeping our intentions concealed. Still taking action, but just, it's more like, don't say too much too soon. Don't put the carriage in, or the, yeah, don't put the cart or carriage in front of the horse, you know, like, and I'm saying this because owls are believed to be restless spirits of the departed, and so the collective may be feeling that bit of restlessness, like we just need to get it out there, get it out there, get it out there, the voice, the action, everything. But I'm hearing moving in silence, under the radar, stealth mode, baby. Yes, with, see, now I'm seeing that partial solar eclipse, like, flashing right before my eyes, and it's not going to be here for another, like, 1.5 days for us, anyways. In other parts of the world, they are ahead of us. We are in Midwest, East Coast region of the United States, and it can vary at any time. But I'm speaking to anyone from all, and any and all parts of the world. So it's so interesting that I'm getting this correlation with a solar eclipse. Ooh. Okay, Spirit. It's too much, and I'm not going on a side quest right now. So we'll talk about that partial solar eclipse at a different time. I see. We have been faced with difficulties and unique sets of circumstances, and we're being guided to be assured that we are equipped to take on anything that our Creator, the universe, the world throws at us. And the snowy isle, I don't know what that's relevant to, but moving along, I can't move along. Snowy Isle. Why did I say isle instead of owl? Is there a snowy island somewhere? I'm so confused. Snow Isle Library? Now I'm just even more confused. There has to be something associated with it that's relevant to the collective. That's all I can say. A snowy isle. Anyways. Wow. So, it is a sign of good fortune and a prosperous future. I will say that much. Hmm. The Queen of Winter. So, this is how I'm interpreting it. The Queen of Winter. So, basically, if you were born in the winter time all the way into the month of March, this is you. The bearer of this angelic aid. So that's your role in the scenario. So it is the collective's role in the scenario to be that angelic help, to take action in co-creating this balance and fairness and equity. Wow. becoming more defined by our honesty and curiosity, having a sense of devotion towards the truth. And okay. And enjoying learning new things as a way of finding new truths. Can't stand liars. And although we often conceal our feelings, we are staunchly against fabrications. An air of caution about being too literal, or even a little bit gullible, but still remaining adaptable. As we continue to thrive at meeting challenges. Yes, skilled at adapting to and overcoming them. And I sincerely believe it's been placed on my heart that we have been overcoming challenges for quite some time now. We're being guided to, when we're not feeling sufficiently challenged, to avoid falling into restrictive routines. Because boredom is a formidable enemy. Wisdom, knowledge, and mysticism. So the beauty of the snow owl lies in its role as an ambassador for an uncanny ability to overcome even the harshest environments and carve out a home. I'm leaving it alone from there. That's the message, and that's our path, and that's what we're being guided to do. Be our own savior, and also, as we continue to build on that, continue our acts of service with others. Keep coming back every day. For the frozen tundra is not a wasteland for the owl, but a winter wonderland. We're being called to co-create this wonderland, beloveds, and it's called New Earth. Thank you so very much for tuning in, beloveds. Yes. If you made it this far, you most certainly are a rock star. Ooh, I felt divinely led to look at the bottom of the deck, and we have divine intuitions. Keep your clairs up, beloveds. Keep your clairs up. If you made it this far, not only are you a rock star, but you're getting a bonus message from the divine intuition, number 49. Isn't that something? And this is our closing message. Divine Intuition Priestess. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Guided by cosmic whispers, she navigates realms beyond sight. Oh, she does she? Oh, you don't say. But we do. The Divine Intuition Priestess card urges us to tap into our inherent wisdom, the part of us that instinctively knows and understands more than we realize. Oh, yeah. And way more than we let on. Yes. It encourages us to trust this intuition and let it guide our actions and decisions, especially in uncertainty or complex situations. In the upright, harnessing innate wisdom and insight that feels inspired by a higher power or deeper consciousness, guiding one towards truth and enlightenment. And the inquiry I leave for the collective is, how do I connect with and trust my intuition? And there is your next assignment. 1:11:01 on the timer. Yes, all these wands today. We're drawing it to a close now with more ones across the timer. 1:11:11. Thank you so very much for tuning in, beloved multiversal soul. Familia. Brightest from my heart chakra to yours. Blessings.